We're talking all things legislative. We're talking all things black, of course. But we have to focus on the fact that we're talking all things Texas. And you know what? Texas is big. Like everything is big in Texas, especially when we're talking about trying to do business with Texas. So we're going to be talking a little bit about how to integrate, how to connect, how to help each other navigate that system. I know a lot of you guys think it's red tape, but it's not that it's red tape. It's just that it's big, big, big. So the next time you're thinking about that, I want you to think about this tune we have for you. Listen, look, hey, cause everything is bigger
in Texas.
Everything is bigger
In Texas.
Yeah, everything is bigger
In Texas.
Yeah, everything is bigger
In Texas.
We got economic power
In Texas.
We live in legacies
In Texas.
It's enough for me
In Texas.
It's enough for you
In Texas.
We got the cowboys
In Texas.
We got trucks for toys
In Texas.
We got the HBCUs
In Texas.
We got a lot of tools
In Texas.
We got the price of the land
In Texas.
and business doing the best that we can.
In Texas.
Yeah, we got the price of the land
In Texas.
and business doing the best that we can.
In Texas.
Yeah, cause everything is bigger.
In Texas.
Say everything is bigger.
In Texas.
Yeah, say everything is bigger.
In Texas.
Yeah, everything is bigger.
In Texas.
I want to say good afternoon to each and every one of you on behalf of the Texas Legislative Black Caucus. My friend, my colleague in the House, Representative Desautels, and I are co-chairing this particular event of the Business and Economic Development section of the summit. And the theme of our summit is from protest to policy. And we've been policymakers and making certain that we do our best in order to get economic development going within our particular community, making certain that people that look like you and me get an opportunity to participate in the procurement opportunities in the state of Texas. And today, we're going to have an example of an agency that not only talks the talk, but walks the walk in terms of its particular program. And so I look forward to hearing from the panel. Many of the persons you'll hear from will be from the Facilities Commission, and they will tell you exactly what that is. But I can assure you, it's a very important agency when we begin to look at procurement opportunities. Joe, what about yourself? What do you have to talk about as relates to as an introduction?
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure to take part in this along with Senator West. We have uh, a very, very important job that we work on every legislative session, and that is increasing minority participation in our communities. We talk about economic development. We cannot have real economic development if our small businesses in our minority communities do not get real opportunities. And the state of Texas can certainly be one of those sources of business. We've worked over the years since I've been here. I know Senator West has worked many years in trying to convince these agencies how important it is to work in economic development in our community and give our community an opportunity. So some agencies have stepped up to the plate, and we would like to let you all hear from a couple of those agencies today, and in hopes that you can develop your business to grow in the way that you envision it to grow. And so hopefully your participation in this event, as well as in the Texas Association and the Texas Black Chamber of Commerce, can get those goals you're looking for.
You know, when we begin to think about agency, you can be assured that years ago, when we first started the HUB program, the Historically Unutilized Business Program, we put in place what we call a good faith structure. George Bush was governor of the state of Texas at that time. And there still needs to be some tweaks to that structure, but it's in place. And we need to make sure we keep it in place, but we still need to have, there's still a lot of work that needs to be done. And collectively, we can get it done working with TAMAC and also the Texas Association of African American Chambers. we can get it done, but it's going to take you to make certain that you help advocate for it. You cannot expect Joe and myself can't call us and say we need a contract. That's not what we do. We do the policy piece and we monitor the implementation of the legislation. And one agency that I got with last legislative session to monitor was the Texas Facilities Commission. And we have with us the hub coordinator, Yolanda Strait. Yolanda, you want to take this away and kind of tell us about your role? Tell us about the Facilities Commission and your role there.
Yes. First of all, I want to thank the Texas Legislative Black Caucus for the opportunity. And again, to Senator West and Representative Dishotel for your support. Without your support, I could not do my job. So again, if we can bring up the slides. Again, my name is Yolanda Stry, and I am the Hub Director for the Texas Facilities Commission. I'm going to go over an overview of our agency. The Texas Facilities Commission is the agency that oversees state property. Our mission is to build, maintain, and support. We currently have about 100 plus state agencies that we support in about 243 cities across the state of Texas. Our footprint is about 28 million square feet of office, garage, and warehouse. We support about 144,000 state employees, and our overall budget is about $670 million. What does the Texas Facilities Commission do? We do new construction, we do renovations, we do property management, we support the Texas School for the Blind and Texas School for the Deaf. We also oversee the state surplus store and the federal surplus store. What do we buy? We buy construction services, professional services, office supplies, computer supplies, and any type of materials needed to do construction. But where we are different than any other state agency is we have a initiative plan, a hub initiative plan. And this plan cannot be successful without the support of our executive director and our commissioners. So we feel that these 4 pillars can assist in helping small businesses do work with the state. The first pillar is preparation. So what we would want is to have a discussion on if you are prepared to do state work with the state of Texas. Are you on the CMBL database? Are you hub certified? If these are some questions you need assistance with, you can always set up a meeting with our agency to discuss why is it important to become hub certified. The next pillar is connections. In the world of doing business with the state of Texas, it is about relationships. What agency buys what? Where do you fit in? So again, our job at TFC is to ensure that you are connected with the right personnel internally in our agency and also with our primes. And also we will refer you to different agencies if we don't sell what you buy or if you don't provide the service that we buy. Again, we encourage that you continue to do business development for your business. Follow the trends. During COVID, there has been a lot of pivoting of businesses because of a lot of businesses slowing down. So again, we need to work together to find out where your pivots need to happen. So again, call us. The next pillar is education. What we do is we have an education program internally to ensure that you are prepared to do work with TFC. We want to make sure that you understand the procurement methods, that you obtain the required certifications and requirements, that you know what your building capacity is and how to utilize that, how to make sure you're not bidding yourself out of the market. The last pillar is marketing. It's always important to know your elevator spill. Always attend any type of event to connect with other contractors or key personnel. And again, if you have responded to a bid, you want to make sure that you do a debrief. Also, do your research. Make sure that TFC is your fit. One final thing is the Hub program is not a set aside. All contracts are competitively bid. Next slide. So if you go to our website, we do forecast our procurements for primes, and you want to come here and check this out probably every 2 weeks to find out if we are buying what you do. Next slide. This slide is if you are wanting to do business as a subcontractor, here is a list of contractors that are needing subcontractors to fulfill their contracts with us. Again, our job is to connect you with those prime contractors. So if you were to go to this link here, you're going to find out who is doing work with us. Next slide. Again, we do have a upcoming educational portion in our Hub program. We have partnered up with our sister agency, the Texas Department of Insurance Division of Workers' Compensation, to bring to you a low cost OSHA 30 training class, and it's for $20. Currently, since we are in COVID, a lot of these trainings are online, so seating is very limited. I believe seating is about 10 slots per video. The next event we have is Meet the Prime. This is where we ensure that you understand and are connected to the prime contractors that we're doing work with. So this is an 11-week series class. We bring you in front of them and ensure that you know that it's a right fit for you to do work with us. Next slide. Another class we do is writing winning proposals. This class helps you understand the proposal writing, and we give you tips on and insights on TFC solicitations. And the following training is called the subcontractor training. This is where we will work hand in hand with the contractor to ensure that you are prepared to bid their work. So again, please make sure you contact us if you're wanting to do business with us. Here, anytime I have a chance to brag on my staff, I'm going to give them kudos. This was our highlight for 2020. Even with COVID, we were able to assist 695 small businesses in doing business with us. Our total expenditures with Hubs were 57.9 million. We had about 39 outreach events virtually, and we were ranked 33 for the highest spent with Hubs overall, with the overall numbers of the state agencies. So I'm going to hand this over to my coworker, Prince Chavis, and he's going to go over the opportunities with the next capital complex phase.
Thanks, Yolanda. Again, I'm Prince Chavis, TFC project manager. I would encourage you to take advantage of those educational opportunities that Yolanda mentioned in the previous slides. One of the major opportunities that we have coming up is the Capitol Complex Phase 2 project. 2018 legislature approved the appropriations for $313 million for the construction of 2 new office buildings with the related structured parking garage and the extension of the Capitol Complex pedestrian mall. So with that, this side is the 1500 block of Congress Avenue and the 1501 block of Lavaca, both office buildings, totaling around 425,000 square feet. One is 5-story with the one is 5 stories, and it is a fabric building, which is on the front line of Congress. The next is roughly 10-story building for a focus building that is closer to Congress Avenue to really join in the pedestrian mall and the Congress Mall feel. This is a slide of our Capitol Complex phase of our projects and the timeline starting this year of 2021, where we started our first solicitation out for the site services engineer to do all the surveying, meets and bounds, and everything related to the beginning of the excavation of those 2 sites. And it is slated to complete at the spring of 2026. The solicitations at the bottom are our expected forecast, and it is just like any large construction project that we have. We will be soliciting a lot of team members that we encourage all to participate and to be involved in our pre-proposal conferences. With these requisitions or the RFQs or an RFP, there's a lot of subcontracting opportunities. I would definitely encourage you to be a part of those conferences, to meet and greet all of our primes, to be a part of whatever packages that we can provide. I, along with the project teams, will be looking at packaging up our project in such a way that it really solicits and encourages the most use, exceeding our hub goals for the project. Next steps, Yolanda. Thanks.
So what are your next steps? Please reach out to us. We have tons of opportunities. Again, we do have the support of our executive team and our project management team. We just need to know that you're ready to do business with us, that you choose TFC. And we look forward to talking to you. Next slide. So please contact us, set up your meeting so we can move forward in how you can do business with us. Thanks.
Good afternoon. My name's Jose Villarreal. I'm a senior market manager for Vaughn Construction. Vaughn is a Texas-based contractor. We have 10 offices across the state, and our focus is doing work for the state of Texas and higher ed institutions, civic for the states like TFC, one of our main clients. So here to talk to you about really what are the challenges. Next slide, please. The challenges of hub participation in construction, the areas of focus for contractors to help maybe increase that, and then some case studies of successful hub partnerships. We have one here today that we will all work with, and maybe talk about some of our best practices. Next slide. Some of the big challenges, small pool of qualified hub contractors. There are really not a lot of hub vendors out there, and every project's different. There's complexities, the local market, what resources you have available, but there are people looking for your resources and your abilities. And like Yolanda mentioned before, it's a matter of staying in front of the right people, and staying active and marketing yourself so that the people know you're out there. One challenge is, hubs aren't always competitive. My number might not. These projects aren't set-asides. They're competitive bids. On a competitive seal proposal, we have to take the low bidders in order for us to win the job. When we're CM at risk, if it's not best qualified, our contract says we have to take the lowest bid. And so it's really important that you're able to market yourself to show you're qualified and get yourself a competitive bid for the market. And then another challenge is, like the project that Prince mentioned before, this is a project that won't start for a couple of years, but you have to start now. Too much time passes from the time they award a project to when it starts. And so you have to be thinking years ahead for some of these projects. And that's some of the challenges to getting some of this work. Next slide, please. So you got to think, you got to be strategic with the projects you pick. Bad experiences breed bad results. And so you need to set yourself business up for success. What owner is paying the fastest? What GC or construction manager is paying the fastest? It's important. You want to invest your resources where you can get in, make your money, fair fee, and get out and move on to the next project and build your business. And so, some of these challenges are, wage scale rates higher than my current payroll, or the prevailing wage that's required by the state more than I'm paying my guys. That's a risk you're taking for entering these projects. What are the bonding and insurance requirements? How much paperwork and certifications do I need to do these kind of projects? And then those are all challenges that you have to think of and make strategic decisions to say, I'm going after that project, before you invest the time and resources to understand that the challenge to do that. Okay, next slide, please. One area of success we've had is early outreach. Some of the training that Yolanda mentioned earlier for projects. We look to train people up on how to do these projects way before we start them, and it's led to a lot of success. We have community outreach events, subcontractor training programs. A lot of these for UT System, for Texas Facilities Commission, we just completed. We were able to achieve, well over 23%, 25, 35 in some cases, hub participation. And a lot of that stems from our work before the project starts construction, before it bids out. We're going out and we're marketing, we're looking for your resources and your interest in this project. And so be looking for those opportunities as they come out. Next slide, please. These is just a list of some subs throughout the state that we're able to go through those programs had the success in the projects and see the fruit of their labors pay out. Next slide, please. Secondary focus is understanding the project parameters. Every project's different. There's some are research labs for some of the state entities, some are parking garages, office buildings. Every project's different, and your understanding of where you fit in those projects is important. How you market yourself. Each market's different. Austin, Dallas, Houston, San Antonio. Every market's a little bit different. The needs are a little different. In the remote areas, there's still work out in all parts of Texas. And so, where do you fit in those markets? What's the solution you bring to those projects? And consider that when you're marketing yourself. And then, analyze. Design. We need to push on our design. The design professionals that design these projects, have them understand where we can increase hub opportunities, right? If they're designing something as simple as blinds and shades, hopefully they're listing a manufacturer who has a local vendor that's a hub participant in the state, a hub vendor, that we can buy that product through. And those kind of challenges that we're going to push for in design to make sure that there's more opportunities created through the supply chain. Next slide, please. Be proactive before bidding. We push our first tier. We don't stop at the main subcontractor we buy, an electrician, a mechanical contractor, a plumber. They have vendors. They have second tier and third tier subcontractors they buy stuff from. We facilitate those relationships. If you're looking to participate in a big project, but you can't do the whole thing, let us know. We'll pair you up with somebody who can, and maybe there's a relationship, and we can facilitate that networking that'll help you provide a solution to the project that will get you some of that work. Again, there's mentor-protege relationships. There's others opportunities out there to create the opportunities to earn these projects and start making money on them. Next slide, please. We push to ensure have competition on our projects. We're trying to bring the best value to the state, our clients. Product versus product, manufacturer versus manufacturer, supply house versus supply house. So there's always a competitive bidding environment. So you got to bring, what do you bring to the table that is you're settling yourself apart, your competitive advantage. Be thinking of that when you're going after these projects. Next slide, please. So some examples, here in Austin, HEW, Clotilde Haynes is with us today. We've been working with her for several years. Is a great example of a hub firm who has exemplified how to grow business and understand what it takes to be successful. ATX Environmental, another firm. We have a mentor-protege relationship through Texas Facilities Commission. Those are examples of firms that were looking to grow, wanted to do work with the state, and focus their business model to understand the challenges and complexities and push us up in that direction. So next slide, please. So what other ideas have proved successful? This goes over to Clotilde. So with that, I'll introduce Clotilde Haynes with HEW.
Jose, thank you so much. Again, my name is Clotilde Davis Haynes, and I am the CEO of my company, Haynes Eaglin Waters. If you can go to the next slide. So my company is a Hub certified African-American women-owned construction and consulting company. We've been around since 1988. We've got 33 years experience as operating as either a small general contractor, but primarily we operate as a subcontractor specializing in construction division 8 and 10 scopes of work. If you don't know what that is, it's doors and hardware, and also what they call building specialties. We also provide in our consulting division minority and women-owned business consulting. Let me talk about some of the challenges from the perspective of a HUD contractor in securing business with the state of Texas and performing that contract if you are successful in winning it. Let's start with the fact that, particularly for companies that have not actually done government work, specifically state of Texas work before, realize that there are a number of requirements. They have been mentioned briefly already, but it's important to understand that if you're going to do business with the state of Texas, you need to understand certified payrolls, prevailing wage rates, and you need to understand OSHA certification. These are all things that are required to do business with the state. And luckily, Texas Facilities Commission and Yolanda and her team are very helpful in providing training, as she has already mentioned, on many of these requirements. So please avail yourself of those training opportunities. Now, so those requirements, also safety planning is always important element to any job, but particularly state of Texas jobs and other government entities. It's important to learn about that as well. But let's talk about even the getting started part. And for that, I want to underscore this issue of relationships. Because as a subcontractor, if that is how you are starting out, you need to get to know the Vaughn constructions that are out here that are going after that work. Meet Jose, meet other folks that are other general contractors that are going after that work to try to develop a relationship there. And then, of course, there are a couple of other challenges to be aware of in doing business with the state, including getting paid. Please understand that there is a process of submitting as a subcontractor, pay requests through the general contractor. The general contractor then has certain procedures they must follow in submitting their pay application for the entire project to the agency that has engaged them. So the process itself may take a while. So please educate yourself about exactly when your pay application is due to the GC and when might you expect to receive payment. One other very important issue in doing business with the state. If your pay application, let's say the first one that you submit, make it up, is $10,000, you're not going to receive $10,000 back. Why? Because the state will withhold retainage. Get to know that term. It means that for any project, the state holds back some money in the event that something is discovered at some point that didn't go quite right with your project. They want to have some incentive for you to come back and correct or address whatever the issue might be. So retainage is another unique thing about doing business with the government and the state. Last thing I would like to say back to relationships, because it's so important. I'm really grateful to be on this panel with Jose Villarreal and Vaughn Construction, because I developed a relationship with that company 16 years ago. They didn't know me. I did not know them. In fact, Jose, who just finished talking, was probably 20 years old. He's aged a bit. But over that 16-year period of developing the relationship, we have probably done 20 or so projects with Vaughn. Again, developing a relationship is key. With that, I will pause.
All right, it's time for us to do some question and answer. And the great thing is that we have Mr. Charles O'Neill that's here that can also answer some of the questions that are going to be asked. So Charles, I really would appreciate you kind of weighing in on some of these questions also. First question is, how can a minority company do business with the state? We want the state perspective on it, Yolanda. We want a Prime's perspective. We want a Hub's perspective. And we also want a advocacy group's perspective. Let's start off with Yolanda first.
So again, it is understanding where to go look for work. And so again, they need to come to the agency to follow that process, or and to understand what is um, needed for them to be successful. How to, if they already know how to do a proposal, um, then they don't need to go to the class. But you want to be able to understand what the steps are and how it connects. So it is just reaching out to the agencies and asking those questions. Um, then it's again, like Clotilde has been saying, it's all about relationships. It's coming in uh, and just sitting down and finding out, like, I want to do this with TFC. How do I go about that? Uh, uh, I usually give out homework and I prepare you to meet a general contractor or internal staff. So again, it's just knowing what you're wanting um, and how you want to do business with us. I mean, it's the state of Texas is so transparent. We're going to guide you on resources to make that decision, to help you make that decision.
And that's just not unique to your agency. That's just something you do with each one of these agencies. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
So Jose, from the contractor's perspective.
So I think the first step, like everyone said, this is a people business, and so your relationships drive that. And I think that the number one, I tell everybody, value those relationships, care for them. A lot of these state agencies set up meetings for me to introduce me to hub firms, small firms. These are small to, and it's probably over the last couple of years, I've probably met with 100 firms at least, and I can count with one hand how many have called me back a second time.
Hmm.
And so there's follow through. It's not just a meeting and we give you work. It's the beginning of a relationship, and you have to keep on it and keep on it and keep on it. It's building. You're building a business. You're building something, and you need to keep feeding that machine and growing the relationships that lead to those projects. And so it's not I'm going to take a meeting and find work. It's I'm going to take a meeting and hopefully build a relationship that leads to opportunities to find work.
Okay, Clotilde.
Yes, sir. So ditto to what everyone has said, but I'm going to have a little bit of a different twist on it, because as a hub firm, I can tell you that for success to happen, first of all, you have to have at the policy level, Senator West, you and Representative Dochetel, who make it an issue. Thank you for keeping this issue front and center with respect to the state of Texas. Without that, none of us get anything. So have to have that. Then you have to have agencies like Texas Facilities Commission and Yolanda and her team who actually listen to you, Senator West. They actually want to go in and make sure that this pie is shared by citizens, residents across the state. So we have to have that. So when TFC sets up Meet the Prime events, go to those. Meet the primes, because as a subcontractor, that's how you're going to get work, is through a prime contractor. So please attend those events. And then last thing is, as far as the primes, again, in Vaughn Construction, you have a good one, but I can tell you something. Been in business 33 years, right? It took me a while to find Vaughn and other general contractors who get it and who are committed to hub participation. Many of them are not. So do your homework, work with the agencies to identify general contractors, prime firms who actually want to engage you. And please, don't be guilty of not following up from a phone call. Let's not hear that again. That's a very disturbing comment that Jose shared with us.
Mr. O'Neill, from an advocacy group standpoint, the Texas Association of African American Chambers, could you respond to that question?
I can. And thanks so much, Senator West and Representative Deschtel. Thanks so much for this opportunity to be with you, number one. And it's almost like homecoming. I see Yolanda, who we worked with over the years, and Jose has actually presented at our annual conference, and Miss Haynes. I think feel like I've known her because Hope and Hay talks about it so much. So it's just like homecoming for us. One of the things is I've listened to the presentation, Senator. Clearly, we're ecstatic anytime we have an agency that is actively attempting to level the playing field, so to speak. But from an advocacy organization perspective, our work centers on trying to align the legislative intent, that is, what was originally attempted to do with the legislation, and the actual policy that resulted uh, beyond rulemaking process. And so we know that the state of Texas and those legislators like yourself and others who advocated for creation of a hub program did not intend for us to be nearly 30 years later having a discussion about the failure of the program to result in the kinds of outcomes that we really thought we would get by enacting the legislation. And so while it's important that organizations like Bond uh, uh, literally team with state agencies to provide or improve access to opportunities, again, I do in the long view, if we're 30 years later and we're still talking about subcontracting opportunities rather than the creation of prime contracting opportunities, we've not created a multi-million-dollar black contracting firm in the state of Texas. And I might back up and say, we work closely also with the Texas Association of Mexican American Chambers of Commerce in this work, again, attempting to improve outcomes. And so we'll stay on the battlefield. As Ms. Haynes just said, we would not be where we are without the ongoing support of those folk in the legislature, yourself in the Senate, and others in the House, TLBC, for hosting a forum like this. We would not have even the level of success that we do now were it not for that support. So we'll stay on the battlefield, Senator.
Okay, we're right there with Representative Dustin.
From the perspective of the agency, the prime and the hubs, what do you see as the benefits, or what are the benefits of becoming hub certified that you would tell a person contemplating whether they should do that or not? First, the agency, if you could speak to that.
So the benefits of being hub certified is it does give you a visibility if you use the program as it should be used. So again, it's coming to the hub coordinator to assist you in if you're needing to get your marketing profile up to date. It's assisting you in meeting the key stakeholders of agencies, of primes, of anybody that can help you go to the next level. Also, I mean, it is also beneficial to just know, what type of businesses are here in Texas. And again, we want to use Texas businesses hubs. And the more we're able to get people certified, then we're able to really tell our story of, how the state is doing business with, minority businesses and so forth. So again, let's get in the game, come and see us. There is so much opportunity. It just, we just want to prepare you for what's coming. So just let us know.
Jose, your perspective of why you should join the program.
Yeah, I think as a business and you're building your business, you should take advantage of every resource you have. And this is a free one. This is a small business development program that is free to you, gives you the resources to find customers that want your work. And why wouldn't you want to take advantage of that? And it's part of your, you have a great client in the state of Texas who's got resources and wants and is looking for your kind of, the kinds of things you're selling. You just need to figure out how to play the game. And so this is step one is registering and getting in the game. And so there should be no reason to not enroll. It should be, those are table stakes. If you want to show up to the game, you got to sign up. And so take advantage of the resources that are out there and the people that want to hire you to spend their money with you.
Ms. Haynes, you've seen the direct benefits. So what would you tell a prospective person whether they should become a hub?
Yes, sir. So I would say this, that registering as a hub sort of gets you in the door. It may even get you at the table. It's not going to get you a contract. And I think that's important to know, that just because you're a hub, it doesn't mean you're going to win. But listen, getting in the door is like 50% of it. there are many minority and women-owned businesses that have no opportunity to actually pursue some of these significant projects with the state. Getting that hub certification causes the prime contractors, and again, I am talking, Mr. O'Neill, about subcontractors here, but it allows those subcontractors to be in conversation with the prime contractors who are making the decision about who they will take with them in completing these projects. So it is a huge resource. In fact, I can say, Representative Desertel, I can tell you something. More than likely, if prime contractors are looking at you and me, I'm hub certified, you're not. All things being equal, we can perform the same service at the same level of quality. They're going to take me.
All right, that's a great point. That's a great point. And then from an advocacy standpoint, Charles, why would you recommend that this?
What I tell our black members across the state is, it doesn't do you any good if you don't bid, right? And that's kind of what Ms. Haynes was just saying. I mean, just saying that I'm hub certified and you don't pursue the work, you won't get any bid. You absolutely will not get a contract if you don't bid. And so that's as you say, that's an entry point. That is the table stakes, as Jose put it. If you're not in the game, you will not be in the game. So
It makes a lot of sense, Senator West.
Thank you, Representative Desertel. Our time is coming to a close. But what I want to do is to give Charles the last word before Representative Desertel and my closing remarks. Charles, as it relates to your advocacy over these many years, what are the next steps? What do we need to be doing in order to increase African American and Latino procurement opportunities in the state of Texas?
thank you, Senator. I think one thing you started off is by saying you guys can't do it by yourselves, and if we're not here offering our perspective, number one, that is not just us as advocates, but the people that we represent as well. I mean, I always want to see 600 or 700 folk that I work for flooding the halls of the building. It makes my job easier. The engagement with levels of government, whether it is state government here in this case, but municipal and county, whatever, always improves when they see you in the building, right? So that's number one. I think just heighten, and then outlining what your expectations of our government. I always say that Black folk, particularly, that's who I work for. We got paid in capital. You know, we've been paying into government, waiting for a return on our taxpayer investment over these many years, and so we have an expectation that at some point we'll exact the kind of return commensurate with what our investment has been. So, staying engaged, letting know what our expectations are, and then being proactive, taking and following the steps that are outlined by the other panelists. Know your business. Know who your target audience is. Stay persistent. Bid. If you're not bidding, you're not getting the contract. I promise you. And so you know, again, as I said, we'll stay on the battlefield. Those things that we can do as an organization, we stand ready to assist both state agencies and other providers, construction companies and others. We're here to work the entire spectrum and be in support of you guys too in the legislature. To the extent that we can be of assistance to you, we offer that as well.
And thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Joe, you have any closing remarks?
Well, yes, one of the things Charles said really stuck out to me, and that was the statement regarding 30 years later, we're still looking for opportunities as subcontractors. And there are a lot of reasons for that, but some of it is our responsibility as hubs and not really using the program to its fullest extent. We get the hub certification and we sit back waiting on business, and it's not going to happen, as everyone has said today. You have to get out there. You have to bid on a lot of different projects. You have to go and introduce yourself to people. You have to be prepared and ready to go to work. just getting certified isn't going to get you any work. And I think that is the greatest message that I've heard in this program today.
And let me add on to that, my friends. Um, the reality is that I said before, you can't ask Joe and myself to get you a contract. That's not the way this works. You've got to get registered, certified as a hub. And just as Ms. Haynes said, you know, all things being equal, if she's certified and you're not, guess who's going to get the contract? You know, but Yolanda is giving great advice. Jose's giving great advice. Prince is giving great advice. Now it's up to you. And I encourage you to join the Texas Association of African American Chambers of Commerce. We've got to have advocacy. 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 You've got to help fund the advocacy groups. You've got to make certain when you're called upon to come to Austin and participate, that you come to Austin and participate. When you begin to look at the state of Texas as it relates to African Americans, you realize that there are more African Americans in the state of Texas than any other state in this country. Let that sink in. And we're still trying to subcontract. I hope that this particular panel discussion has given you some incentive to redouble your effort to be involved in procurement opportunities that, frankly, and Yolanda, correct me if I'm wrong, are in the billions of dollars every year. That's what this particular lake or river is all about. You need to go fishing where there are fish. And there's a whole lot of fish right here in state government, the state of Texas. So I want to thank each and every one of you, my panelists, my partner in crime, Representative Desautels, and each and every one of you for coming. If you want more information about doing business in the state of Texas, you can contact the Texas Legislative Black Caucus at www.txblc.com. Have a great day. Thank you very much.